Hey everyone, Coops here from the whole Box and Dice, and I thought it was about time that we started doing some learn to play, tactics, strategy, card, in-depth analysis videos. We're starting to obviously put out quite a few deck techs and I've really appreciated all the support on them. Definitely have a few more of them on the way, so we're not giving up on the deck techs at all. But I get so many questions about gameplay. Is this card good? Is this card is bad? How do I start off, getting into the game? So I showed you what you can do with an upgrade deck with one of these starter decks. So I figured I might as well show you what you actually get as a base package. It's got the card list on the back there so you can see the contents. Get the playmat and the rulebook in there. And you also get that special starter only Goku leader card. So you can't get that starter card in any of the booster packs. You can only get it in the starter deck. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos. We're going to go through the deck. We'll do a quick flick through of the cards that are actually in there, and then we'll talk about them as a whole. We'll talk about them like individually, kind of how they contribute. So you can see you get the rule manual. It's a pretty good base in terms of initial start, but there definitely are a couple of things that you will require some clarification on. So there is an FAQ that you can look at on the website. Plus, there's a couple of awesome Facebook groups that are pretty good at giving you some answers on some specific interactions, because there are some very, very funky, there's some funky circumstances where the language just makes you pause and just question yourself. So don't be afraid to reach out to the community as well. Most of the people on the Facebook group's pretty helpful, and 90% of the time they know the right answer. So just you can still definitely keep hitting me up, email, comments, Twitter, however you'd like, Facebook Messenger. But just figured these video series might help for new players getting into the game, and you can also take a look at what you get in the starter deck as well. So let's just quickly flick through. I'll speed it up and I'll show you the cards you get in the starter deck. Okay, you got all that? Awesome, good video over. Thanks so much. Nah, just kidding, guys. Thought we'd start off with Vegeta, the Prince of Speed. He's a 5-drop, 20k double strike, and when he enters play, you get to draw 2 cards. Card draw is one of the most powerful things in any TCG, and whilst DBS has a lot of cards that enable you for card draw, 2 on a body with double strike is nothing to dismiss. This is a great card. Up next, we're going to be looking at an extra card. Encouraging Presence Monarcha is an activate main to give your leader double strike, and then you get to draw 1 card. Not a huge fan of this card in this deck because our leader isn't the Coming Soon Goku, which doesn't have the dual attack, but it still is a very solid card. Whis' Coercion is the blue negate for 1. There's 1 in each color except for yellow, because that has a couple of other tricks. Just remember you don't have to ready the energy that you paid for Whis' Coercion with, so if you are playing a 2-color deck, it may be more advantageous to untap your secondary color if you do have another negate or another combat trick in the color that isn't blue. We have access to a pretty awesome Goku chain in the starter. We get 4 copies of the Kind Saiyan. When you play this card, you get to look at the top 7 cards, pull any blue Goku out, and put it in your hand. Make sure you do reveal it to your opponent. 2 copies of the Rapid Spirit Ball Sun Goku. So then when this one comes into play, you get to ready an energy, but you can evolve them for 2. The 5-drop also has an evolve clause for 4, maximum energy. When you do evolve it, you pick up both double strike and dual attack till end of turn, and we round out the top of the curve with the God Rush Sun Goku for 6. He's the 25k double strike. When you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with blocker and return them to their hand. He has evolve for 5, which is awesome, and he has double strike as well. Obviously, great way to interact with an opponent's board, which is heavy with defensive cards. Looking at some more battle cards that we get in the deck, we have a playset, 4 copies of the Assailant Vegeta, as well as 2 copies of Mighty Striker Son Gohan, but I'll just fix that Vegeta up because there's probably glare over that 15k in case you can't see it. So Vegeta is 15k with critical, so when you do critical damage, your opponent doesn't get to pick up the card and put it in their hand. It goes straight to the drop area, and Mighty Son Striker Gohan's 25k double strike for 4, and it's just 1 blue as well. You can tell that with just the amount of orbs up in the top left-hand corner next to it. And I feel like Striker is a bit of an underrated card. There are definitely some very powerful 4-drops in the game, but it's nice to have a big 25k body with double strike come down as early as turn 4 just to put some pressure on the game. 2 sets of some vanilla 15ks. We get 3 copies of Son Goten and 3 copies of Trunks in the deck. I really like the 2-drop 15Ks that can always put pressure on a leader, and this is a large part of why the mono yellow freezer deck is such a successful strategy, because you can always put pressure on your opponent's leader. Taking our first look at blockers in the game, we have Guardian North Kai, a playset, as well as 4 copies of Taunting Piccolo, 5 and 10k respectively, 1 and 2 drops. Really good to have some blockers so we can survive the early game and get out some of our big Goku drops later on. When an opponent declares an attack, you then nominate that you're going to pull down a blocker before they go to combos. Just keep that in mind. There are a lot of confusion around this interaction sometimes. So your opponent will declare an attack. If you choose not to negate it, you can then choose to bring down a blocker to intercept the damage. We get access to a ramp package in this starter deck, and it starts off with 4 copies of Bulma the God Tempter, which when she comes into play, you're able to grab a copy of Whis the Resting Attendant from your deck. When you play Whis, you will then flip over the top card from your deck, and that will be charged as energy. Energy Boost Beerus is a great complement to these 2 cards, because when it comes into play, if you have 5 or more energy, you can KO an opponent's battle card. So very nice to have some tech. Ramp is great, obviously allows you to get ahead, and Beerus's unconditional removal is very, very powerful in the game. What cards are we looking for early on in the game? What cards do we want to keep in our opening hand? Well, we do get to Paris Mulligan in this game, which means you draw 6. You can throw away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 cards, doesn't matter. From your opening hand, you get to draw that many back. So we're looking for some blockers. We're definitely looking for our 15k vanilla 2-drops. Bulma's a great card because it'll help thin out our deck and start our ramping. Kind saying Goku is definitely a card that you can keep in your opening hand, especially if you have a rapid Spirit Ball Son Goku as well. You have a great turn 2 play, start that evolution chain, plus you get to refresh an energy on the evolution, which is great. Luckily, the deck does lend itself to having quite a few 1 and 2 drops, so you rarely get into trouble early on in the game with not having plays to make, but they're some of the cards that you want to look to keep in your opening hand. So you've made it through to turns 3 and 4, hopefully not versing mono red, and you've got more than a couple of life left. I guess now we're really trying to start either ramping into Whis, so we can set up our Energy Boost Beerus play. Cards like Assailant Vegeta are very aggressive cards on turn 3 that we can use to deny card advantage for our opponent. We definitely want to be making use of our blockers if we've got some nasty threats coming back at us, so some double strikes that we don't feel like we want to take, or especially critical coming back at us. We really want to start getting some value out of the Goku chain. It is the main win condition of the deck. And you're probably starting to look to see if you've got any negates in hand, because we are getting to the point where we will have enough energy to be able to still play really good cards and keep up 1 or 2 energy after that. And so we're kind of looking for those Whis' coercion to start being out of control what our opponent can do when it's their turn to swing and crack back at us. So we're now really looking to put ourselves in a position to win the game with our deck. Energy Boost Beerus will now be online, so we can KO unconditional, which is amazing. We've got God Rush Goku if we need to blitz blockers off our opponent's board. Vegeta becomes a very key card here because we can refill our hand if we're running low. Plus, you're probably at the point where you're going to be awakening your leader, depending on the amount of damage you've taken. We definitely want to start looking at keeping up energy for negates, also just to make our opponent question whether we do have a negate in hand as well. Also keeping up blockers. If you can keep up some energy for negates as well as having blockers on the field, it really does make it tough for our opponent to put together an Alpha Strike, because you do have a couple of different ways to interact with them. Obviously, Mighty Striker Son Gohan proves his worth here. 25k Double Striker is a very powerful card, and you're probably starting to look at using Monarca as well to try and put some pressure on. And you are in a position where the deck definitely starts running out of gas after, not straight away after turn 5, but you definitely don't have a Beerus. You certainly don't have a card like Whis or even Champa. Like, you don't have the 25k triple strike blocker freezer, so you do really want to be putting yourself in a position where around turns 6, 7, no later than 8, that you are in a position to win the game, and you really have to get that maximum value out of the Goku chain to do so. Otherwise, you will start getting outvalued by some other decks. So where do you go from here? Well, I have uploaded a video on how to upgrade this deck. It's really interesting. Like, for a deck that runs some ramp, you don't get the other half of the ramp package being objection, which is a bit weird. You also don't get the 0 cost to combo 10k for life or left draw card, which is very surprising that they didn't include this. That is a key card in every single deck. The good news is that using this deck, you can still build a really competitive mono blue tempo value deck by using a lot of the cards that are starter exclusive. So you still do get a lot of value from this purchase. But I will be doing some more of these videos, kind of diving a little bit deeper into tactics and strategy and some cards that it's worth, I believe, spotlighting, as well as keeping up with the deck techs, because I know you all like them very, very much. But look, if you have watched the video and you've enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new. You have no idea how much it helps when you just hit that subscribe button or hit the like button. It just shows that my videos are getting some traction, and means the world to me. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I've been Coops. This is the Whole Box and Dice. Keep hitting me up with your DBS questions. Check out my Magic and Metacross stuff as well. Thanks again. Peace.